Okay, I'm Johnny Walton, and this is my multimedia project. The platform I used was Poplet. This is Johnny's project. I had never used this website before, but it's pretty cool, and I might use it again afterwards. So we're going to start off with a little tour. So first, it's all centered around me, John Walton. These are just two pictures I wanted to throw in. This is a cool one of my trip to Oregon. That's in a river. It's just super blue water, which I thought was really cool. And this is me and my buddies at the Patriots game. So the first section, why I want to be a teacher. Going off on this branch first, I think I would be a very good teacher. As a child who struggled in school, I know what it feels like and I know how to help. I think I'd honestly be able to bring a unique perspective to the classroom as a teacher to help a lot of kids that isn't brought by a lot of other people. And I think I would have loved to have a me in the classroom when I was in the class, so I think I can help a lot of kids like that. Continuing on why I think I'd be a good teacher, I have a lot of good ideas for lesson plans and ways to make learning fun and engaging for all. Right here, this is just a little image of, I think I'd be able to make interesting plans. Here's a basketball player shooting, but it's actually talking about math. And I have lots of ideas like that, whether it's going outside, just things where kids can connect a little more. If you put a real life connection to it, that makes it more interesting. Ultimately, I feel like I can make positive change in a lot of kids' lives, which is true and honest, and that's the main reason I want to be a teacher, just so I can help. And I want to be my own version of Ron Clark. And obviously, I'm not going to be as big as Ron, but I feel like I can make a big change like that in this world. And I don't know. I'm going to try to do my best to get there. So bringing it back up, why I want to be a teacher. I've always enjoyed working with children of all ages, including my three siblings. These are them right here. This is on my senior day for volleyball. That's me, my dad, my mom, Adam, my brother, Zeke, and Sunny, my brother and sister. And my parents were teachers, so I was brought up in that environment. So I've been experienced around a lot of teaching already. I've also been a head counselor of the 8 to 10 age group at my summer camp for 5 years. I've actually been head counselor of 8 to 10 and 5 to 7, but so I like working with all ages, really. So moving out of why I want to be a teacher, moving to philosophy of teaching and learning. Two of the philosophies I like the most. First was perennialism. As a fifth grade teacher, you are not only giving information to your students, but you are molding young humans, which I totally believe. As a elementary school teacher especially, putting information into the kid's head is important and very, that's why we're teachers, but you're also molding these people to be, contributors to society. I want my students to not only be knowledgeable, but strong, independent humans, which is very true. I want my students to be able to critically think about anything and decide for themselves what they think is right. And I think in today's era, that's more important than it's ever been, the ability to critical think, because there's going to be information everywhere that says everything. And obviously, I'm not saying critically think if my lesson plan is wrong, but if someone tells you something, you should decide if you believe it's true, not just because they say it's necessarily true. I want my classroom to have positive community environment to it. So Mr. Walton's class everyone's gonna support each other and be there for each other, because we're all gonna act as one and we're as strong as our weakest link. So we're all gonna be there for each other. And the end goal really is my students should leave my classroom, that's supposed to say ready to be productive, contributing members of society, which is really what it's all about. And my other teaching philosophy I think is important is, I struggle saying this, existentialism. There we go. And I'm a strong believer that no two students learn the same. Some students may learn best some ways while others learn different. Uh, Growing up, I was definitely a hands-on learner. I like touching, I like feeling, I like figuring it out like that. But as we can right here, a kinesthetic, I guess you could say. But not it's not just limited to this three. There's hundreds. I mean, there's like each student learns different, which is why it makes your job as a teacher. As a teacher, it's your job to understand each of your students and what works best for them, while also creating lessons that work for the class, which is very true. Like when you're creating a lesson plan, you have to plan for everyone. You're not just creating a lesson plan for one student. So you're creating it for everyone so everyone can learn best. But also the ability to then, once the lesson's had and maybe students are working it individually, you can go up to each student and, like, if they're struggling, maybe help them in a certain way that works best for them and point them in the right direction. And I've been separating, as you can see, the red was for why I want to be a teacher, green was for philosophy and teaching, and the yellow will be for how and why I teach, including the goals. But there's like connections amongst all these. And my interesting lesson plans I have over here totally connects to engaging all students of all learners, along with like my lesson plans with like uh, the basketball player and stuff that students could connect with a little more will help all the different types of learners. And then moving up to the last one up here, how and why I teach, including goals. I see myself as a constructivist. I think students will learn best from seeing what we are learning and trying to adapt to it. And there's a whole spider web of connections here, but I'll try my best to do that. I totally believe in a whole language. And like just might continue here. My students will go beyond their comfort zone, and it's okay if they fail at first, because failure is not only acceptable in my classroom but encouraged. And I totally believe that. Like students have to take that extra step, and even if they don't know it, as long as they see it and can learn something from it, then they're one step closer to getting there than they were before. And that's maybe in math. That's doing a math problem that's too hard and they don't get it, and that's okay because now they are at least familiar with it, and next time they'll be a little bit closer to getting it than they were this time. And reading and writing, I just threw up a Harry Potter book because I know for a fifth grader that's probably a challenging book, but hell, if they want to try their best to go read it, go ahead, and they can learn from that. I want my class to always be interesting and engaging. That's like one of the most important things as a teacher. You want your students to be interested in your class, because if they're not interested, then what's the point of even teaching the lesson? Which involves constantly updating lesson plans based on what I felt worked and or did not work well. One of my professors I had, the Watson School of Education, Dr. Furr, always said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I 100% agree with that. If you have a lesson plan and it doesn't work, or even say there's a small kink in it, and you don't do anything to change it for the next time you do it, then why would there be a different result? As a teacher, we have to constantly be trying to improve not only ourselves, but the lessons we bring to the class. Moving over here. Trying to involve current trends and interesting topics to the students into lessons or word problems. I know when I was a student, even if a teacher just on a test, if you saw your name come up, if you saw Johnny had 8 apples and so, whatever, that's fun. That's a little something that gets the kids going. Or like just keeping it relevant, keeping it with something students will find interesting, I think is very important. And on the video when Ron Clark I love when Ron Clark example of the math equation you turn into a song. I feel like I can make many of those. Here's a picture of Drake and Ariana Grande, just two artists that I think I could turn little. Like I could definitely see myself using a process of elimination into a song or something. Just in my family, we've always done that. We've made lots of songs, so I think I could use that in the classroom really well. And for my EDN 301 class recently, we had to make a quote, and this is a quote that I made, and I kind of love it, and it's very true. And as a teacher, my goal is to teach the best I can. However, I am a teacher because my goal is to change lives, and that's really what it comes down to. Like, I'm happy to be a teacher. I'm happy to teach kids and give them information, but that's not really why I'm doing it. Like, I want to be a teacher because I want to help kids and I want to help the world kind of. And just if I can help one kid each day, then that's why we do it. Um, and yeah, that's my multimedia project, and I hope you liked it.